Hey everybody, TacticAngel here. We're back on the PlayStation 4 playing some World of Warships Legends, and today we'll be looking at the first and probably the only Polish ship that we're going to get for at least a good long while. This is the Blyskawica. Naturally, apologies to anybody who can actually speak Polish. Obviously, I cannot. That L with a slash, I learned this morning, is actually called L with stroke in English, and is apparently pronounced like a W. Meanwhile, the W is pronounced more like a V, and the C is pronounced more like an S. So, Blyskawica. In any case, this is a famous ship from World War II. It is a destroyer, tier 6, and probably the only Polish ship that we'll be seeing for a long time. The reason why I say that is because even on PC, this ship has been out for years, and it is, as far as I know, the only Polish ship in the game. So let's talk a little bit about what the Blyskawica is all about. We're going to go through the stats, understand that these stats are modified by the way that I have the commander set up, and I will show you the commander that I have in this. It's going to be the same commander that you would have in it, because when you buy this ship, you get the commander, and honestly, half of the reason you might want to consider it is because of that commander. So for hit points, we're looking at 15,500. We have no armor, so let's not even bother talking about that. Moving into artillery, we see the main battery here is listed as 3 twin Bofors turrets and 1 single Bofors turret. So that little turret that you saw on the front of the ship, unlike the Ubari, that is actually part of your main armament. There's no secondary, so nothing to worry about there. In terms of torpedoes, you have 2 triple launchers mounted down the center of the ship, so they shoot either port or starboard. Here you can see you can bump the torpedo range out to 8 kilometers. 59 knots isn't actually all that great. It's not terrible, but it's not great for this tier, particularly since some of that speed is coming off of my commander. Here is our obligatory look at the AA situation. This actually does have a little bit of AA, and I have actually shot down some planes in it, but you know, planes aren't a big part of the game right now. This will be more useful in the future, perhaps. As we move into the maneuverability, we realize that Blyskawica actually does mean lightning in Polish. That's true. At 40.2 knots, you are crazy fast. I think you can actually get it a little bit higher than that. Turning radius is more sluggish than American and British of the same tier, but you are going to turn a little bit tighter than the Japanese destroyers out there. As we move into concealment, naturally we're pretty stealthy. That 5.7 kilometers is a little lower than the base because the commander is making this a little bit more stealthy. That said, you're going to have the same opportunity to have the same commander. Now let's take a look at him. So this is Jerzy Świrski. He is the Polish commander that you get when you purchase this ship. I suspect he'll probably be one of the only Polish commanders that we will see for a very long time. There are 2 reasons why you want to look at this guy. One is, you know, you have these base traits, and these base traits affect how other ships can perform. So he actually has a really useful base trait, which is just straight up reduction on sea detectability range. Now, I'm a little conflicted on how I feel about placing that kind of ability behind a paywall, because I mean, that's useful on pretty much anything that you want to play, and right now the only way to get hide and seek is with this commander. So, you know, make of that what you will. I think everybody's probably going to feel a little bit different about it. I'll just flash the rest of the stuff that's going on with this guy on the screen, and then we can jump straight into a battle. So we're going to be on fault line, and I'm going to cut out the first few minutes of this game so that I don't waste too much of your time. We are rolling out to the east. We're going towards that alley. I consider this to be a relatively poor decision in most ships, but the Blyskawica is probably uniquely qualified to go down here. I really think probably only maybe some cruisers, but mostly destroyers should consider this part of the map because there's not a lot of room to maneuver. You're going to set yourself up to being torpedoed to death, and I feel pretty good that I'm going to probably outspot most of the other sort of destroyers I might see in this game, and I'll definitely be able to see any battleships or cruisers coming. So I've got this confidence with this Blyskawica because it actually is more of a gunboat than even a lot of American destroyers. You have 7 guns, you're able to put a lot of shells downrange. So what are we looking at here? A Fubuki, there's no way he's going to be able to outshoot me. I just need to not run into his torpedoes if he starts shooting them. And as you can see, we're chewing him up. And he's got a slower reload, he's got less guns, he's probably got worse guns, to be completely honest. Every part of this equation doesn't work for him, except if he can get me with torpedoes. And really, the Japanese destroyers, they do not make their bread and butter on, you know, sinking other destroyers. They're out there trying to sink battleships and whatnot.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
So there we go. First blood, shooting that guy to bits. We haven't repaired our engine because we weren't all that worried about it. We're just taking a few seconds here to see if there are any torpedoes in the water, because that will maybe change the way that I use that. It doesn't look like anything's catching up. We might as well just burn the extra couple of seconds and hold on to that consumable. So now with the engines going again, we're looking at what we have on the map. That Colorado looks like he is in a really dangerous position because, I mean, I can approach him and try to shoot that gap between the 2 islands, and he won't be able to get any shots on me if he even notices I'm coming until I'm right on top of him. And here you can see we're accelerating pretty easily up to the high 30s in terms of speed. So Blyskawica is a very, very quick ship. You can imagine if I threw on a speed boost, I could get to 44, and 44 is speedboat territory, not real speedboat territory. And also understand, when you're listening to me, I don't live within 100 miles of a body of water bigger than a swimming pool. So that's not true. There are a couple rivers. Whatever. It doesn't matter. This thing is fast. And so here we go. We're starting to shoot this gap. I always get excited when I do this because I feel like I'm, you know, doing like the Death Star trench run. And I'm a little bit sad that he launched that spotter plane, because he probably will spot me before I get all the way there. The thing is, with the angles, he's still not going to be able to really do much about me. I think I got guaranteed minimum detection range there, and he should be right around this corner. There he is. What a terrible feeling to be in a battleship broadside onto a destroyer who's less than a kilometer away. I'm going to line up my sniper-like shots here. We managed to hit him with everything, but on top of that just being a pretty decent decision in terms of what to do with my boat, notice that I do not have enough torpedoes on this really to annihilate most battleships in one go unless I make them all hit. So that Colorado took all 6, and he took them all in his armored belt. I could have placed it, you know, towards the bow or the stern and probably done a little bit more damage, because not as much of the torpedo damage would have been mitigated if I hit him there. So it's something to think about. I don't think the torpedo systems on this boat are bad exactly, but if you look at any of the other destroyers that you could be playing at this tier right now, if you're in the Jervis, you have 12 torpedo tubes. If you're in a Benson, I think you have a very similar amount, and also in the Japanese boats, which are all about the torpedoes. If you're looking at maybe picking up the Blyskawica, what you're going to want to be thinking is this is more of an American style torpedo boat. It's more about the guns than the torpedoes. The torpedoes complement it decently enough, and they reload quick enough that, you know, you're going to have them ready most of the time. But, I mean, you can't play that passive sort of stay out of spotting range, launch just an unholy swarm of torpedoes and pray for a hit. That's not going to work in this boat. So anyway, we're trying to be a good teammate. We see that there's a couple people heading back towards the base. The base is important. People need to remember to defend it occasionally. So here we go, a little bit of a time warp. As you can see, I'm going to stay pretty close to that 40 knots. I'm going to make my play around the south side of this island as opposed to shooting the gap between the islands. That's mostly just because I expect that their guns will be faced in the wrong direction. There we see the QE. And I'm going to use my guns here and let them detect me. Mostly what I'm doing right now, I put some shots down there to hit the QE just to get points off of him. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the Aoba. And as you can see, the Aoba is definitely not expecting someone from this side. I've hit both of them, and as you can see, basically reduced their capture points to 0. Now would be a good time to move away, because I do not want to be shot to pieces by an Aoba, and it probably can. I should be behind this island before he really gets too many shots on me. The turrets on that thing are not exactly lightning fast. Couple parting shots. I think he'll probably hit island if he shoots back at me. That was fun. We got some fire, and now he's doing a smart thing and trying to counterplay me by putting that spotter plane up in the air. Still, I'm pretty confident at this point that we're going to win this. My team is flirting with the enemy base, and this guy is not going to be able to cap it while I'm here. I can play hit and run if I want to, but it looks like he's getting pretty close to that island, and that makes me a very happy person. So we're starting to get that Death Star trench run feel a little bit again. And usually about now I hit a speed boost. Let's see if I do. And this is just so that I get in and out as quick as possible. Apparently I don't remember this. I recorded this game yesterday, but you know, I guess sometimes I'm not super predictable. So there's the Aoba. We hit him again. He's looking in another direction. He has several things to worry about, so he may not have realized that I am now really, really close to his ship. I very confidently just am sailing next to this, watching the beautiful torpedoes, and there you go. Another devastating strike. We are up to 88,000 damage. This is a pretty good game, I'm not going to lie. You could do a lot better in this, but I feel like this is a good example of what you want to do in this. And I also make an absurd amount of credits in it, which is fun to see. So if you're considering buying this, the Blyskawica, it's a really fun boat to play. It is a bit pricey. Right now you can buy it in 2 bundles. One of the bundles has a whole bunch of other stuff that you probably don't strictly need. So it has credits, it has I think a commander's chest, it has some other stuff. You can buy just the boat with the commander for quite a bit less, and that might be the more economic way of going. In any case, We're going to see the battle results here. I think I make 400,000. 472,000. Jeez, that's a lot. Pretty great amount of credit earning potential with these tier 6 premium ships. There you can see the amount of havoc we did. Thank you everybody for listening though. I'll see you guys on the next one.